Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today my topic is about energy resources. We use energy every day to do examples like powering our car, cooking breakfast or dinner, and even just kicking a ball outside. So first I'm going to talk about the basics of energy resources, then fossil fuels, nuclear energy, and finally renewable energy. My first question in energy resources is, what is fuel? Fuel is something that can burn, and fuel is mostly made out of carbon, and carbon is a type of chemical that's in the ground, that is on Earth. And in this picture, this woman in China is trying to power a stove by using fire, and the fire is one of the main and most popular kinds of energy resource we use because it's the most basic. Trees are found everywhere, and if you look behind me, there's even trees outside. But we're trying to develop new kinds of energy resources because if we use all the wood we have, there's going to be no more, and that's going to endanger our whole planet. In this picture, this shows a blazing city, and this shows how much energy we use every day just by looking at it. In this city, there's flashes of light everywhere, and every day we have to use these energy resources to power our food, to drive our trains, and to see. Now I'm going to talk about fossil fuels. Fossil fuels is a type of energy resource that we use every day. This is one of our main types of energy because we use this and it's often found underground. These types are often called coal, oil, and natural gas. First, I'm going to talk about how did oil and natural gas form. Oil and natural gas formed in similar ways, which is underground. When plant remains pile under the surface, it forms a type of mixture, and over millions of years, it becomes a type of substance that has carbon in it, and we can use this for our everyday lives. Now I'm going to talk about how are fossil fuels used. And fossil fuels are transported and also digged. These factories and miners need to have oil refineries to dig deep down and get them. Now I'm going to talk about how oil forms. And oil forms by three processes which take over millions of years. First of all, plant remains gather under a seabed, and that seabed over time will come piling up with sediment, so there's no more sea anymore. But in the modern time, we can still find these fossil fuels under the sea because the earth has changed over many years. After the process of the sediment building up, the final process is for the oil to rise on out of the holes in the rock. Once the oil reaches the solid rock, it cannot go anymore. So that's why the oil refineries can dig it up and transport it to other countries and states. Natural gas is found a similar way, except that it's the gas remaining from the resource in the earth millions of years ago. Now I'm going to talk about the types of coal. So coal can come in many different types because some are weaker than the others. First, as every coal piece starts off as plant and animal remains, it kind of looks like this. Once it's starting to build up, it's going to go through a muddy system, and this forms peat. The mud helps the plant remains stick together, and the peat gives off carbon when you burn it. And like I said, carbon was a substance that lets things burn, and it's found in every type of fuel. Now I'm going to talk about the first type of coal, called lignite. And lignite is made up to 60% carbon, but still you can see some plant remains in it. In the second type of coal, it is called bituminous coal. Bituminous coal is a higher grade, and this type of coal is found deeper underground because more heat and pressure is added to it. In this grade, this is used for industry to burn these factories and work these machines, and the bituminous coal is found with up to 80% carbon. The last type of coal is the highest we can ever find. It's called anthracite. Anthracite contains about 90% carbon and is hard, black, and glossy, like in this picture. Now I'm going to talk about nuclear energy. Nuclear energy was first invented by scientists in Germany because they wanted to use bombs to attack the other countries in World War II. Nuclear energy is another source of energy resource we use in our everyday lives. This has many advantages and disadvantages. And one of the advantages is that it doesn't pollute the earth as much as fossil fuels. But a disadvantage is that it's very hard to transport once digged up because it has a special type of substance called uranium. Uranium is a chemical that gives off radioactive waves, and these waves will cause humans and animals to be affected. And so in this picture, this is the Chernobyl disaster. And the Chernobyl disaster was in Russia. And once a nuclear reactor was delivering it to other countries and states, it erupted. And this shows how much radioactive waves have been released into the planet after 6 days. It spread through many states in Russia and became a disaster. Now I'm going to talk about renewable energy. Renewable energy is the most friendliest energy resource that we use today because we found out that we can make energy using our Earth's natural resources, which doesn't waste up any of our natural and supposed to be there. First, I'm going to talk about what are the sources of renewable energy. So the most common type is probably solar panels because the energy uses the sun's direct light to shoot down and power the energy. Since the sun is hot, it's easy to burn energy, and even though the sun is super small, it can do a big help. Now I'm going to talk about what are the advantages and disadvantages of this type of energy. So this energy can only work if things go properly, such as if waves crash, if tides are turning, and if sun's shining or waves crashing. And if we don't have these type of natural resources or factors, we will not be able to produce energy. Another disadvantage is that we probably cannot use enough energy from these natural factors because they're expensive to build, and not only that, but they also very little energy required to build this. And now I'm going to talk about these pictures. So in this picture, this shows wind power, and wind power spins turbines that eventually go into a generator. This generator sends electricity into the homes of people who need it. This type of energy is called hydroelectric energy. Hydroelectric energy uses the waves of the water to flush the energy. And once the waves of the water go into the machine, it will then turn the turbines, and those turbines will power a generator, which will then go to homes and industry. The last energy type of renewable energy is geothermal energy, and geothermal energy uses the Earth's natural heat from underground to power resources. And such as this picture over here, it shows the steam rising out of the hot water, and behind it is a huge factory which will then process this heat into energy that we can use around the country and states. And this picture over here is a solar panel, and these solar panels are very useful because they're big and also the sun's light can be directed into it. And each of these tiny panels produce a certain amount of electricity. And so computers will turn these little solar panels into the direction of the sunlight by day and night if there's sun, because they want to get as much energy as they can. My conclusion is that energy resources will help us in our everyday lives, and I can't believe how much energy we use every day, because we have to use it to power our refrigerator or to keep our homes lighted up, and even we just need it to cook our food for meals. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below, and I hope you like and subscribe.